66 million years ago, a cosmic catastrophe changed Earth forever. Picture a colossal asteroid, roughly the size of a small city, tearing through the cosmos at a blistering speed up to 30 kilometers per second. It wasn't just a rock. It was a blazing inferno, glowing hotter than the sun's surface as it sliced through the atmosphere. In mere seconds, it slammed into the planet near what we now call Mexico as the Yucatan Peninsula. The impact unleashed chaos on an unimaginable scale, rewriting life's story in a matter of moments. The moment it struck, the ground shuddered with the force of billions of atomic bombs. A blinding flash lit up the sky, and a shockwave roared outward, flattening everything in its path. Trees, creatures, entire landscapes vaporized or crushed instantly within hundreds of kilometers. Debris, molten and jagged, shot into the heavens, some escaping Earth's pull entirely, while other fragments hung in the atmosphere, ready to rain destruction. The air itself turned toxic as sulfur and dust mixed, sparking chemical reactions that would poison the planet for years. Fires erupted across continents. The heat from the impact ignited forests, grasslands, and anything flammable, sending plumes of black smoke spiraling upward. These weren't ordinary wildfires. They were relentless, continent-wide infernos that devoured ecosystems. The skies darkened with ash, blotting out the sun. But the devastation didn't stop there. The asteroid's impact sent seismic ripples through Earth's crust, triggering earthquakes that fractured the land and volcanoes that spewed molten rock and gases. The planet was a war zone. Then came the tsunami, a monster unlike anything in recorded history. The collision displaced unimaginable volumes of ocean water, birthing a wall of liquid fury over 10 meters high. This wasn't a wave you could surf or outrun. It surged across the Atlantic and Pacific at terrifying speeds, swallowing coastlines whole. Entire landmasses were reshaped as the water carved through rock and sediment, leaving scars we can still trace today. Coastal ecosystems vanished, buried under layers of debris or swept into the abyss. If you stood on a shore that day, survival was not an option. Yet, not every creature perished in those first cataclysmic hours. Far from the impact site, some dinosaurs clung to life. Smaller species burrowed in the ground or hidden in dense forests escaped the initial blast. They dodged the fires, survived the quakes, and weren't swept away by the colossal waves. But their reprieve was temporary. The world they knew was unraveling. The massive cloud of dust and ash in the atmosphere choked out sunlight, plunging Earth into a frigid darkness, a nuclear winter without the bombs. Temperatures plummeted. Plants, starved of light, withered and died, collapsing the food chain from the bottom up. The air grew heavy with acid rain. Sulfur from the impact mixed with water vapor, falling as corrosive showers that burned through vegetation and poisoned rivers and lakes. The oceans, too, turned hostile. Acidified waters killed off plankton and other marine life, disrupting aquatic ecosystems. Fish, ammonites, and massive marine reptiles like mosasaurs couldn't adapt fast enough. On land, the giant herbivores, like triceratops and sauropods, starved as their food sources vanished. Predators like Tyrannosaurus rex, already battered, soon followed, unable to find prey. The world became a graveyard, with roughly 3/4 of all species wiped out. This wasn't a quick death for the dinosaurs. It was a slow, merciless grind. Some lingered for months, maybe years, scavenging in a cold, dark world where food was scarce and hope scarcer. Their massive bodies, once rulers of the earth, became liabilities in an environment that no longer supported them. The mighty T-Rex, with its bone-crushing jaws, couldn't bite its way out of starvation. Smaller creatures, though, had a chance. Those that could burrow, hibernate, or survive on sparse resources held on, waiting for the planet to heal. And heal it did, but not to its former self. 1,000 years after the impact, the world was still a shadow of its past. The skies began too clear, but the cold lingered. Ferns, resilient and quick to grow, were among the first plants to reclaim the barren landscapes. These hardy survivors thrived in the ashen soil, paving the way for other vegetation. Small, furry creatures, early mammals, scampered through the underbrush, no bigger than rats or squirrels. They were nimble, adaptable, and ready to seize their moment. In the oceans, life stirred again, with new species filling the voids left by the extinct. Fast forward 100,000 years, and Earth was stirring with new energy. The climate stabilized, and forests began to creep back. Mammals grew, bolder, some reaching the size of modern raccoons. They weren't the giants of the dinosaur age, but they were scrappy, carving out niches in a world still scarred by catastrophe. The oceans teemed once more, with fish and early marine mammals taking over where reptiles once swam. The planet was no longer a wasteland, but it was far from the lush, dinosaur-filled paradise of old. 10 million years later, Earth had transformed entirely. Biodiversity roared back, but the cast had changed. Mammals now ruled the land, evolving into forms both strange and magnificent. Towering beasts like Paraceratherium, a hornless rhino the size of a house, lumbered across plains. In the skies, early birds diversified, filling roles once held by pterosaurs. Flowering plants exploded in variety, painting the world with color and providing new food sources. The oceans, too, had their titans. Megalodon, a shark so massive it could swallow a modern great white whole, patrolled the seas. This was no longer the dinosaurs' Earth, it was a new world, forged in disaster and reborn through resilience. But this new Earth was no utopia. It was wild, unpredictable, and often terrifying. Predators like saber-toothed cats and giant carnivorous birds stalked the land. The oceans hid monsters that could crush ships with a single bite. Survival demanded adaptability, and the creatures that thrived were those that could evolve fast and endure the planet's lingering volatility. The scars of the asteroid impact remained etched into the geology and the ecosystems, a reminder of how quickly everything could change. What makes this story so gripping is its scale and its stakes. The asteroid didn't just kill dinosaurs. It reshaped the very fabric of life. It showed how fragile even the mightiest creatures could be when the rules of the game changed. Yet, it also revealed life's stubborn tenacity. From the ashes of one era rose another, driven by survivors who turned catastrophe into opportunity. Those small mammals, scurrying in the shadows of giants, were the ancestors of every lion, whale, and human walking the planet today. Imagine standing on that ancient Earth, moments before the asteroid hit. The sky would glow with an eerie light, the air thick with the promise of destruction. You'd feel the ground tremble as the impact unleashed its fury, knowing nothing would ever be the same. Then, picture the silence that followed. A cold, empty world where life hung by a thread. Yet, in that silence, you'd hear the faint stirrings of something new, the rustle of ferns, the scamper of a tiny mammal, the first notes of a world reinventing itself. This tale isn't just about death, it's about rebirth. It's about a planet that faced annihilation and came back stronger, stranger, and more diverse. The dinosaurs' end was a tragedy, but it was also a turning point. Without that asteroid, the world we know, our world, might never have existed. Every creature that walks, swims, or flies today owes its place to that fiery moment 66 million years ago. It's a story of destruction, survival, and transformation. One that reminds us how even the greatest cataclysms can set the stage